Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder presents Central Texas Events.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Events. And I tell you what, Waco Cultural Arts is going to keep you busy. There's lots of things happening. Doreen Ravenscroft, you are just amazing because of all you have done for so many years for the cultural arts scene in Waco. But starting tomorrow, we've got pumpkins and we've got all kinds of things all the way through next weekend.
We do. Mm-hmm.
So tell me, first of all, what's happening.
Okay, first of all, what's happening on Saturday? We're doing Pumpkinfest. It's at the Wilbert Austin Park on Hood Street in East Waco. Mm-hmm. So we've done that in conjunction with Neighbor Works. We'll be there from 11 a.m. to 2. We have pumpkins, hot dogs, face painting, and costume people. And we hope lots of little people will show up in costumes too.
I bet they will. Will you be doing some carving?
No, we are actually painting the pumpkins, but it's not going to be the usual messy paint. We've got tempera paint sticks, which we think we're going to be much more fun and easier to carry home. You know, because they're always wet when it's time to carry them home. Yeah. And so the tempera sticks, I practiced with them, and I think it's going to work.
They're gonna dry easily enough. Yeah. Well, of course, it's a great time of year. So much fun stuff happening right around Halloween. But on the first weekend of November, this is the big thing.
That's the biggie thing.
The Cultural Arts Fest.
Yes.
And it's in 2 different locations, correct?
Well, Waco Cultural Arts Fest is in Indian Spring Park, but it's also in the Convention Center.
Yeah.
So we start November 3rd, and the main stage will open at 4 o'clock, and it will end up with our headliner, Cam KT, who is a rap artist. So it features a lot of rap musicians on the Friday evening. But also in the Convention Center, we will have WordFest. So we have an open mic that's beginning 7 to 9. Obviously, family-friendly contact, please.
Good.
But we're encouraging young poets and people who have written books to come and just read at an open mic.
Mm-hmm. And not a poetry slam necessarily.
No, it's not a poetry slam.
Right.
We've done those, and so it's just an open mic for reading poetry.
Yeah, just to share your work.
Yes.
That's the whole point of Waco Cultural Arts. That is for people to really flourish.
Yes.
When it comes to everything from the visual arts, as you say, to the written word.
Yes.
To music, I mean, you name it.
Yeah, we're actually absolutely excited because one young lady is 17. I actually met her at CRRC meeting and said, you need to submit because she read a poem at one of CRRC's event, and her mom stopped me a couple of weeks ago and said she got accepted in the anthology. And that is really great. We have published an anthology which only the anthologists attend a reception on the Saturday evening. And then it's an open event afterwards for the poetry reading of the anthology. So that gets published on Amazon. And we have entries from all over the world for that.
I'll bet you do.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the history of the Cultural Arts Fest is amazing.
Thank
and what
you.
all you have done in 19 years, raised nearly $700,000
Yes.
through that. Almost 200,000 guests have
Yes.
come to. It's a very popular event too, but the permanent art sculptures that have been raised thanks
Yes.
to you guys. 4.3 million for public art permanent sculptures. Of course, the Chisholm Trail.
The Chisholm Trail.
Monument at Indian Spring Park. Everybody knows. I mean, that's iconic now.
Yes, yes. That was exciting because, we Robert Summers, who was like the Remington of today,
Yeah.
he did all the sculptures. And I was so excited when, we were all wanting tourism to begin. Now it's, established and booming.
It's a big
And
thing in Waco.
There were some British voices at the monument, and I thought, oh, I'm going to ask where they're from. And they'd actually been told to stop in Waco to look at the Chisholm Trail sculpture.
Really?
And I called up the visitor center and said, we've had our first coach, our first coach load of guests from out of town coming and visiting art in Waco. And so, because now we see coach loads of people all the time. So, but that was really exciting that, some public art had raised enough interest
Really?
that they would stop as they toured Texas, and they would stop in Waco.
And of course, you've had such a huge impact on the Doris Miller.
Yes.
And so I interviewed you many times as you were raising money for
Yes,
that.
yes.
And what a tremendous hero in Waco
Yes.
for us to honor in this way there at Bledsoe Miller Park.
Yeah. And, talking about it yesterday, or like at the beginning of this week, we actually got the final piece of steel welded into it, which had taken...
Oh, I didn't know it wasn't quite complete.
It got delayed because of COVID, and there was
Right,
one
and
really high
supplies and
piece
so
that
forth.
had to go in, and it was a little complicated. And then finally, we got all the donor steel plates installed, which was really exciting. I was so excited. I was eating donuts too much. It's like I was so nervous. Were they going to fit? Would it work?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, to see all those names and all the people
Right.
who supported it, and including a little boy who was only 3 in, I think, 2010 when we did the groundbreaking. He gave us $1 out of a wallet. He was like a little tiny old man pulling his wallet out and, scooting through it, and then gave me $1.
Oh.
And if there's one story that's the most important, it's kind of that one, because his name is there too.
Oh, yeah, it was truly a community effort, and
It was.
everybody behind this wonderful event to see this
Yeah.
sculpture of Doris Miller. Of course, murals.
Murals.
You've been involved in all that.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
$65,000 raised.
Yes.
For them, and it's kind of made Waco sort of a mural city.
Yeah, and then, it was great that when Creative Waco came, they took it on even further with the apprentice program.
Right,
So,
right.
And murals are blossoming all over Waco now, which is great.
Yeah.
Makes
Well,
you feel happy.
Oh, you cannot look at
Yeah.
one of these and not just have a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel when I'm ever around you, Doreen. But I want to. You obviously don't sound like you're from around here, and
No.
you mentioned those British accents. So tell me a little bit. What brought you to Central Texas? Where are you from? Where you from, girl?
I'm actually from the north of England. My hometown is very close to Chester, which was a Roman town. My husband came from Liverpool. We both met at Unilever, which is an international company. And to shock everybody, I was a chemistry, physics, and maths major. And that's how we met, because I worked in the research laboratory for Unilever. Yeah. And so did Bill. And he joined M&M Mars. We went to, and eventually came over to Waco.
Yep. The home.
Yep. And 76, we were actually in New Jersey, 1976. And then we were Bill was moved to Cleveland, Tennessee, and did lots of commuting, and we finally ended up in Waco, Texas.
Yeah. Now, I heard Little Bird tell me that he might have some connection
With
to the
Skittles?
S, the S in Skittles.
He
Tell me
does.
about that.
Well, yeah, he was one of the. He was called Mr. Skittles,
Okay.
basically because of doing all the research and development work for Skittles. But we actually came to Waco because of Twixt.
Okay.
To reformulate it, or not me,
Oh,
for
right.
Bill, because it was a British product. And
What was it called in?
It was called Twix in England.
Oh, it was called Twix in England.
And at least I think it was. I hope so. But the cookie bar was very hard, and Bill had to reformulate it because we have more gluten in our flour in the United States than we do in Europe. And so when you transposed a massive recipe into production, it's basically a chemical formula.
Right.
And so the chemical formula was wrong. And
Okay.
now Twix tastes good.
Very good. But then he kind of morphed into Skittles, or
He morphed into Skittles, Starburst flavors.
Yeah.
The sour flavors and the tropical flavors in Starburst. He developed, and so
that's amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing.
and mini M&Ms.
Well, we
For
are
the
so
bakers.
oh my gosh, we are so glad that that delicious candy company brought you here to Central Texas. Your love, though, for the arts, where did that start?
Well, we're all talking about wars at the moment, and so I think people can relate to this. Well, I was born in 1943, so I'm a World War II baby, and very close on the other side of the Mersey, just as on the other side of the Mersey. But Liverpool, ASAP after the war, decided that the theatres were going to open. And I don't think they opened in 45, but definitely in 46. They were open, and my parents and an aunt took me to see a pantomime.
Really?
It was Cinderella. Well, I was so excited. I was wriggling on my seat. There was like a fire curtain, and then that went up, and then there was this gorgeous red, velvet curtain with lots of tassels on it,
Oh, sure.
And then that goes up, that kind of pulls up. And then the stage was so bright, so colorful, so full of lights, and I was smitten.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that was performance arts, but it was the arts. And my dad worked for a paper company, Bowwaters, and I had free paper, and he sharpened pencils, and I drew and drew and drew.
Yeah. An artist yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you have done
So-
so much, Doreen, to
Well,
lift Central
tried.
Texas and the cultural arts community. But again, the Waco Cultural Arts Fest, you don't want to miss these activities, and this is going to be happening November 3rd through the 5th.
It is, yes.
And it's free? Is there a ticket?
It's free. We always try to have our events free, except our fundraisers.
Sure.
It's important that it's on a bus route, that families can reach it, and it's also important that families can walk from the apartments and
Right.
houses that are around to the festival. And so we have some wonderful arts activities that are run by students and art teachers. And, we began it in some ways because at that time in 2004, lots of the schools didn't have a lot of money, and the arts were being cut.
Exactly. Budgets get tight, and fine arts are the first to go.
Fine arts are the first to go.
Yeah.
And many of you probably have visual learners. I think I was a visual learner. My son was a visual learner. And I think losing the arts at an early age, especially elementary, when the brain is developing, it was really important that we could have an arts festival that was quality, that was free, and that could encourage parents to have some paper and colored pencils or crayons.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, at home.
Simple things.
Simple
but so
things.
important. I presume you can use volunteers and helpers.
Oh, we can. If please go to our
and
website.
Money too.
Money is always wonderful to
Yeah.
make a donation,
Yeah.
because we can't do it without our supporters. Whether I'm writing grants or it's individual donations or it's companies, it's really important so that we can have that, maintain a quality event, because prices go up and things change.
Yeah.
But then we do need volunteers. We have registration on our website. It's wacoartsfest.org. Just click volunteer and fill in the form and sign up.
Take part. Take your family. I mean,
Yes.
this is just a wonderful, wonderful reason to connect with the community.
Yes.
But also work on your brain when it comes
Yes,
to
yes.
these wonderful art activities and the
Yeah.
music and everything.
It
It's
is.
just going to be fabulous.
And we still have easel art. And I think my favorite thing is to see a 24-inch sheet of cardboard walking down the street, and you see two little feet and two hands and maybe the eyes popping over the top. But what's being shown is the artwork.
Yeah.
And to see that pride in a little one. And I have heard that people have moved house and they have not been allowed to throw the Waco Cultural Arts Fest art pieces away. So I'm sure there's a lot that are gathering dust in Waco, but that's wonderful, because it's also a measure of how you can track how your children are developing,
Yeah.
is how they create their art.
But it's been going strong for 19 years.
Yes.
But this is just the beginning of more great things.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Well, Doreen, it wouldn't be happening without you. And you are just a delight. I'm always happy to be around you.
Thank you.
And just see all the great things that are happening when it comes to cultural arts in Waco. Cultural Arts Fest, November 3rd through the 5th, Indian Spring Park and the Waco Convention Center.
Yes.
Take part.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
come to the Laser Light Show on Saturday evening with
Okay.
the Mike Stanley Band.
Oh, man, it's going to be great.
Man, it's going to be great.
Thank you, Doreen, and thank you for joining us for Central Texas Events. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.